another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton, and today's guest is Kristin Smith from Beauty Counter, speaking on non-toxic skincare and beauty products. After spending nearly a decade of her professional career in front of the camera as a television news reporter, Kristin Smith went on seeking to help others. First at the national nonprofit, the Humane Society of the United States, and now with the mission-based beauty company, Beauty Counter, working to get safe products into the hands of everyone. As a mom of 3, all still in diapers, Kristin is so aware of the safety of the products she uses on her skin and that of her family. And after finding out there are barely any laws regulating the multi-billion-dollar beauty industry in the United States, she knew she had to take action. The things she uses need to meet 2 criteria. They need to work, and they need to be safe. Beauty Counter products meet these with beautiful, sparkling, flying colors. And now that she knows, she wants everyone else to know too. I'm excited today to welcome Kristin Smith from Beauty Counter to the show. Welcome, Kristin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brayton, for having me.
This is such an important topic that we're going to be speaking on today on non-toxic skincare and beauty products. It's something that's come up so many times in multiple episodes I've done through Well-Adjusted Mama, where the practitioners speak on the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, and educating moms, especially on exposure to toxic ingredients in our everyday skincare products, which is certainly very important when you're preparing for conception, throughout pregnancy, and then after as well, and for your children. So today's topic, even though it's come up in past episodes, today's topic is going to be exclusively on really is our toxic exposure through everyday skincare and beauty items and products that are found in the United States, and what we can do as educated consumers to make smarter purchases. So I want you to just start off by sharing with our audience really where we're at now currently in the United States with the skincare and beauty industry and how that's different from other parts of the world in Europe.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, the United States has not passed a federal law regulating the cosmetic industry since 1938. And Dr. Brayton, that's nearly 80 years since the last time there have been any new laws regulating this multi-billion-dollar industry. That number in itself is very scary. It's only a page and a half long, the regulations that govern the cosmetic industry in this country. 85,000 chemicals are registered for use in commerce here, and about 10,500 are used in the cosmetics industry. Mm-hmm. Now, the European Union has banned 1,300 or closer to 1,400 ingredients that are known and proven to be harmful for use on your skin or suspected to be harmful. In the U.S., we have banned or restricted the use of only 11 ingredients. That is such a stark contrast.
Yeah. Wow. So, we know that there's all of these chemicals. I was just at a detox summit yesterday, and I was, informed that every year in the United States, 2,000 to 3,000 new chemicals are created. This is an ongoing thing that's just continuing to grow, so to speak, as an issue. If there's more chemicals being released and not any type of federal or even state legislation that is looking at these new chemicals being made and how they may impact our health, especially when they're applied topically. So can you speak to is there anything out there, why isn't the United States, do you feel comfortable talking about why the United States hasn't updated and has any new laws in place to help protect us as consumers?
Well, the cosmetics industry, like I said, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they have a lot of power. And unfortunately, the way our government works, it really does pay a lot of attention to those who have a lot of money. But fortunately, companies like ours, Beauty Counter, is really working to lobby the government to try to put new regulations on the cosmetics industry as a whole, because our mission is to get safe products into the hands of everybody. So it doesn't necessarily, our mission isn't to get beauty counter products into the hands of everyone necessarily. It's to get safe products into the hands of everybody. You know, whether you're going to a drugstore to buy your face cream or your shampoo, and you know, when you think about all of the products that we all use every single day, even if you have a minimal regime, really you're still using the shampoo and conditioner and body lotion and probably a face lotion and a face wash and toothpaste. And that's at a bare minimum. Women on average use 12 personal care products a day. Men use about half that. And, you know, when you add up all of those ingredients, those nearly 200 ingredients and those personal care products every day, they add up when you use them day after day. And then we're not even counting the makeup or the sunscreen and all of the various other things that we use that we put on our bodies every single day. So, you know, we're trying very, very hard to get chemicals and other harmful ingredients out of our skincare and cosmetics industry, but it takes a lot of work, and Beauty Counter has only been around for 2 years. March of 2013 is when we launched, and we've already seen some really good movement in the right direction. So hopefully, you know, we'll continue to see that and continue to get lawmakers on our side and seeing the right way that things that need to be done.
Right. And, you know, to your point, it's only been 2 years. You know, unfortunately, in this country, you know, changing laws when there's a very strong lobbying, you know, strength coming from the chemical industry, and really the parent company of the chemical industry is oil. So that also comes up in the detox is, you know, what leads all of this, even ahead of big pharma and big food, is big oil. So when there's that type of power via lobbying money going behind the scenes in creating, for example, our makeup, we don't necessarily link those two together, but they're very much directly linked. And that's, I think, a big reason why, to your point, why there's only such a small number of chemicals that are banned. But what's really concerning, and the reason why I was really wanting to get you on the show today and get this information out to moms is, you know, we assume, especially living in the United States, that when we go to a drugstore and buy our skincare and our beauty products and our makeup, we assume that they're safe. It's just absolutely assumed, because why would it not be, right? We're not in a third world country. And we would expect the government to protect us, and that's not happening. So I think my big message today to listeners is we have to do our own homework, we have to do our own research, and we have to learn how we can protect ourselves until the laws change, and that has not happened yet. So I'm really excited that I learned about Beauty Counter recently from you, and you know, and I'm excited to hear of a company who has that vision for wanting to protect the citizens of the United States from big oil, essentially. That's what it boils down to. And that, you know, we should be able to go to a drugstore and buy skincare products that are already safe from all different brands. You know, why can't every single brand put safe ingredients in their products? You know, so that's what I really loved about the mission of Beauty Counter.
Yeah, well, it's true. You really do have to be your own advocate, and you really do have to watch out for yourself, because it's true and very unfortunate that the government, as of up till now, really hasn't been advocating for us in this regard. So yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of disorders and diseases on the rise in the last few decades, and you know, like you said, there are new ingredients that are being approved for use that, you know, a lot of times they haven't even been tested for safety. And a lot of those ingredients are going into products made specifically just for children and babies, which, you know, is frightening and it's angering and it's frustrating, especially, you know, when you're a mom or when you are, you know, you would like to become a mom, or if you're a dad. You know, everyone cares about the children in our families, in our country. And it's very frustrating to know that the people who have control over what goes into those products aren't doing what it takes to make them safe.
Right, and we certainly see that in the food industry, and that's something that, there's been a lot of great documentaries out there that talk about, companies that produce products that actually have tons of sugar, are very addictive, and has really created this obesity epidemic that we see in the United States. But we could say the same thing with these skincare products as well. They're just everywhere. They're marketed, in TV and everywhere we go. Like some of these bigger brands have really strong marketing dollars, and they're very accessible. They're just very easy to pick up. Unfortunately, a lot of times when we're wanting, non-toxic brands, and there are, brands out there that are clean and safe and non-toxic, they're not really accessible. You have to drive farther to get them, and it's ideally they should be convenient, they should be easier, but they're smaller brands in comparison to these large corporations that have a lot more marketing dollars to spend. So
it's so true. You can go online and purchase these things, but it really, these safe products, unfortunately, usually are not accessible to the masses or to people with lower incomes. And there's no reason why they can't be made safe. There just isn't. There's no excuse.
And that's another good point, is unfortunately, like we look at organic fruits and vegetables that tend to be more expensive than conventionally grown. The same thing with clean and safe products, skincare products. Yeah. They tend to be a little more expensive, and they aren't accessible for the masses. But I think that's something, if we look at how we can clean up our environment regarding like recycling and decreasing pollution, certainly decreasing toxic chemicals in skincare is just should be, synonymous with cleaning up the environment. It's cleaning up the environment of your body. And the skin is the largest organ in the body, so anything you put on your skin is absorbed within 26 seconds. And certainly if you are an infant or a young child, the amount of chemicals they could be the same amount of chemicals that an adult is exposed to, but they're going to create even more stress on the detox pathways of the body with the liver, the kidneys, and the digestive tract, because a child's body is smaller and it certainly can't handle the same amount of load that an adult body can. It's not good for any of us, but we really can see how that's going to be even more detrimental to children, babies, and that certainly, use the word angry. It makes me angry as well, because there's just really, especially when these products are, like to your point, marketed for that population. And they might even put the word natural on them, and they're not natural, they're not safe, and, a lot of families don't have an awareness that what they're putting on their child's body is not safe. So that's why this type of education is so important. One thing, too, I also wanted to add, I mentioned how new chemicals are coming out every year. The other really disturbing thing is we don't necessarily know how these chemicals interact with each other. So you could be exposed to one of these chemicals at a time, which never happens, of course, in a skincare product, but the cumulative effect, it's not that 1 + 1 = 2, but 1 + 1 could actually equal 30. And that's the amount of toxicity that can be occurring. And there aren't any studies to also show, even if a chemical has been studied by itself, we don't know how it's interacting with other chemicals within that product or other chemicals on another product that's used at the same time. So there is so much unknown. It's like this big science experiment that we're all undergoing. And unfortunately, we have enough information now to see this chronic epidemic of illnesses in children and adults that are skyrocketing. Now 1 in 68 children are diagnosed with autism, and this is, unheard of. This is really indicative of environmental toxicity, and one form of that is with the beauty industry, which is what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. And, children really are far more vulnerable to the effects of toxic chemicals than adults, like you said. And, childhood cancers have increased 20% over the past 30 or so years. The big 4A disorders have increased dramatically: autism, ADHD, asthma, allergies, learning and developmental disabilities, more than 1 in 6 children in the U.S. And, although risk factors, they're complicated and, we don't really understand them. They're not completely understood. It's been found that environmental factors do contribute greatly to the developmental disorders in children. And, that's why this is so important, truly.
It is. Even the other thing that came up on the Detox Summit, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but the scientist at MIT who's been doing research on chemical toxicity for like 4 decades is predicting in the year 2025, which is only 10 years from now, it's really not that far away, that 1 in 2 children will be diagnosed with autism. That's 50%. That's just mind-numbing and just gives me the chills. It's so upsetting that is potentially where we're headed, specifically in the United States. And so I really, am very passionate about this topic. And so let's continue on, because I could talk about this a long time. So I would really love for you to share with our audience why your personal story of why you've done your research and have chosen to buy, different products for yourself and for your family.
Well, Dr. Brayton, it really started almost 10 years ago, I would say, when I started getting really interested in finding out more about the foods I was eating. And this is long before I had kids. But, I learned about genetically modified ingredients and how prevalent the use of pesticides was in basically everything that we eat. I put a lot of effort into what I was eating, and I really weeded out my whole diet, becoming vegan for a time and kind of going back and forth between that and vegetarianism. And I really found it very important to be picky about the types of foods that I was eating and how they were produced and what they went through to get to my plate. And then, I became pregnant with the twins, who are almost 3, only 3 years old. And I really started to become very aware of what makeup I was using and what lotions I was using. And it became so obvious to me how much I was really using on a daily basis. I was like, well, what's in my shampoo? And I started to kind of panic about what I was using. And the problem is that I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what was or what wasn't in the products I was using. So I just tried to use less of what I was using. And it was actually scary. So I tried to use less, like I said. And then I learned the facts, and I learned the facts when I learned about Beauty Counter. And I feel so much more educated, and I truly feel that it's really my own personal mission to make sure other moms are educated as well, and other women, and to support their whole families, with the education that I now know. Because the same that goes for the food that we eat is really what goes for the skincare and cosmetics that we use. And that is that just because something says natural or organic, or you don't see safe very much on labels, but anything that claims to be safe in any way, you can't really trust it because there is no transparency in the skincare and cosmetics industry. And definitely food has been moving in the right direction with GMO Project, and you can see labels that are a little bit more reliable, but we are so far and away from that in the skincare and cosmetics industry. And like you said, there are a few companies out there that are working hard to make sure that their products are safe, but there are it's such a tiny little percentage of companies like us that we're just working so hard to make sure that we can make that number. We can grow that number just a little bit more, and hopefully we can do it soon, because that year that you said, 2025, is right around the corner, and that's scary.
Yeah, it really is scary. It's kind of overwhelming for just think about how sick we'll be as a population if half of our children need special care and need caretaking essentially the rest of their lives. So it's something like now is the time to learn about this and share this information with your friends and also make it known if you have any type of political, interest, make this known to your lawmakers as well about how this is not acceptable. There's a group out there called Moms Across America, and they've been doing a lot of lobbying for this types of, of transparency and protecting our families. These are the types of organizations that we want to join up with. So that brings me to my next question, because I know Beauty Counter does support 3 nonprofits. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that, and also what separates Beauty Counter from other, skincare and cosmetic companies.
There's so much that actually really does separate Beauty Counter from other cosmetic companies. And one of the very big things, like you said, that we support 3 very wonderful nonprofits. The Environmental Working Group is one of them, and they are truly fantastic because they take apart all of the ingredients in the skincare and cosmetics that are on the market today, and even other products like wood polish and household cleaners, that kind of thing. And you can find out just how safe the products that you're using really are. And whether you enter the name of the product or you enter some of the ingredients that are contained in the product, it will tell you just how safe what you're using really is. And so that's fantastic. And we love EWG, and you can find Beauty Counter on the EWG app called Skin Deep. It's very educational, and I encourage everybody to download the app and use that on everything that they have in their house. Another nonprofit that we support is the Breast Cancer Fund. And what I really love about the Breast Cancer Fund is that it works to make breast cancer a preventable disease, and they work to empower women to learn how to prevent the disease in themselves and how it can be prevented in other ways as well, rather than just treating the disease. Another nonprofit that we support, which I love, is Healthy Child, Healthy World. And that is a nonprofit that works to educate families on proper nutrition for their children, which is really, really wonderful. Beauty Counter is really fantastic because not only are the ingredients that we use safe, and we have a very intense screening process that we do, we also work to make sure that even the packaging is environmentally friendly, or as environmentally friendly as it possibly can be. And we source our ingredients from sustainable farms, right, even down to any palm oil that we use, say in our eyeliner, is sourced from farms that are not taken from orangutan habitat. So that's so much to be proud of. But if that weren't enough, there's actually one other thing one of many other things actually that I could talk about. about Beautycounter that makes me so proud to work with the company, and that is that it's a B corporation. And that's a certification that not a lot of companies have achieved. About 1,300 companies worldwide have achieved the B Corp seal of approval and is a B corporation. And that just means that it's a benefit corporation. The B stands for benefit. And it means that Beautycounter and other companies that have the certification have put people and the environment above profit. So people and planet above profit. And that's the people that work with Beautycounter, the consultants like myself and others who sell the products, and also the people who buy the products. We're working to make sure that they're safe. Like we've been talking about this whole time, that's one of the reasons that it is a B corporation. And the other is that, like I mentioned before, we're very environmentally friendly. Beautycounter is built on the belief that better products are possible, and we stand by that, and that's what makes Beautycounter so different from other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that we're lobbying. I think I mentioned this earlier. Beautycounter is going to Congress, and we lobby for change in the cosmetics industry. We've been working to really affect change in Washington in this respect, and we're hoping to get more change. But we have been a major mover and shaker in this realm, and I'm excited to see what else we can do.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I think, the other point here is really, I think the sad truth is that until the laws are changed at a federal level, some of these really larger companies will not feel compelled to change their formulations and to have the ingredients be safe. So it really does boil down to these legislative changes. As much as consumers, we can shop and we can, speak with our dollars by not buying those products. If still the majority of people are just unaware of the toxic ingredients in these products and they're not accessible to, they're not able to access these other products, it comes down to the government, once again, protecting us by outlawing chemicals and ingredients that other countries in the world are already doing and have been doing, and, recognize. I think the other thing, too, is when you think about all these chemicals that are going into these products, even producing these chemicals are creating pollution in our environment, and they're impacting negatively the planet. So it's like so many levels here of yuckiness. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, so that's really, why, like, to your point, Beautycounter is working at multiple levels. They're creating safe products not only that aren't made with toxic ingredients, but that are also effective. Do you want to speak a little bit about the packaging of Beautycounter and how the products work?
Yes, absolutely. There are so many products, actually are used for multiple uses in the skincare line, in the two skincare lines that we have for face, and then we have a body line and cosmetics line, and a kids line as well. They are really can be tailored to really any type of skin, and whether you have very oily skin or dry skin that breaks out, really you can treat your skin, whether it's normal or complicated, with these products, and you will see real change pretty quickly. And some people have a little bit of a detox in their skin. I personally did also, but it doesn't last long. And now my skin is great. Like, I love my skin now. I broke out a lot, over the past few years, and my skin has gotten so much better. So really, if you have, you can use a combination of different products to really get the results that you need, I think, with any one of the lines that we have.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so they're for dry skin, combination, oily, aging. I know one of the lines is called Counter Time, so that's like the anti-aging line.
Yeah.
And there's, the face oils, the eye creams, the face wash, toner, and then there's also makeup. So there's a whole line of makeup that has everything except mascara at this point, right?
Yes, actually, and we just came out with a mattify powder, which is lovely. When you look at it, it's a loose white powder, and it really all it does is mattify any areas of your face that you want. I like to use it from under my under eyes after I put the concealer on, the touch-up concealer, which is great because it's very transportable. You can really bring it everywhere because it comes in a pen form, and it's a clickable pen that you can just get a little concealer out of, put it under your eyes or any other spots that you want to cover up. And then there's the tint skin, which has really become a cult favorite, and is part of the reason why we have such great partnerships with some really other great companies, including J. Crew and Gwyneth Paltrow's blog Goop. And we've gotten so much great press attention for these products. I've seen Tint Skin and our sunscreen and our Vibrant Eye Perfector in so many places, and I keep saying it over and over again. And I don't even have that much time to look around for this stuff, but I see it. It's great. I love it.
Right. So, I think that's the other thing that I really wanted to emphasize, because a lot of women who maybe have tried natural skincare products did not have a quality product that they were working with. It may have been safe, but it wasn't really doing the job that we needed to do. So I think that's the other thing I wanted to emphasize with Beauty Counter is that they're very stringent, from what you've told me, about putting quality, not only safe products, but a quality product that you would want to use over and over again and use and continue to use ongoing. So instead of like, oh, I'm not buying that product again, that didn't work out the way I thought it would. This is the difference with Beauty Counter.
No, with Beauty Counter, you really, truly don't have to sacrifice beauty for safety or safety for beauty. You get both in the same package. And, we really start with an empty bottle, and we fill it with ingredients that are not only safe, but are beautiful, and they go on amazingly, and you can feel the difference on your fingers when you put it on your fingers ready to apply it to your face. You can really feel the quality, and you can tell that it's different just when you're using it. And you can tell the difference when you use for instance, our Nourishing Cleansing Balm at night. If you use that as an overnight moisture mask, you wake up and you look like you drank 3 liters of water. That's the only way to describe it. You really look radiant. And that's what I hear from so many people. They really say, and they say that they were skeptical about it. And frankly, I was too. But, when I tried the product, I was like, how much am I really going to love these? But the truth of the matter is, when I put them into my palm and I could, smell just the fresh scent, because there's no fragrance. We would never put any fragrance in any one of our products. Fragrance is such a dangerous word, and if you have anything that says fragrance on it, just, if this is something that you really care about, then try not to use that one, because fragrance is a buzzword that's, hopefully we can, it really just means, that the company used any number of hundreds of chemicals to make up what they're calling in one word fragrance. So it could be very dangerous for you. So I don't use, anything with fragrance in it, and certainly Beauty Counter doesn't put fragrance in anything, but you can really tell the difference when you put the product in your hand. You just see that it's nice, and you smell that it's fresh, and when you put it on your face, your skin almost like thanks you. I mean, it really looks good. You really do look radiant, pretty much immediately, and over time you see a real consistent, change in your skin for the better. And that's what I love. I love Beauty Counter for that, making such wonderful, gorgeous products.
Right. And, for me, I'm thinking even beyond how the skin is looking and feeling, what about all the organs underneath that are certainly benefiting from having a decrease in the toxic exposure? Because, sadly, unfortunately, in our environment, even if we eat a clean diet and use clean skincare products, we're exposed to toxins in the air, in our water. And so we live in a very toxic environment. And so the truth is that we can't eliminate all toxic exposure, but certainly where we can, and one way to do that is with the products that you buy for your skincare, and especially to your point, things that we use on every single day basis with the toothpaste. There isn't a toothpaste in this line yet.
No. I'm eager to find out if they are working on that one, actually. Right now we're working, like you said, on a mascara, which we do not have yet, and a deodorant, and we're working diligently to hopefully get that. But those are hard ones to make good and safe. So we want to make it right. We want to make it perfect, because that's really, we take pride in making sure that everything is exactly the way we want it to be. We don't want to compromise on a beautiful product.
Right. Yeah. So that's a good point. But the things that are now available in the line are things that, especially as women, we use on a daily basis with our skincare regimen and our makeup and our sunscreen and our body products, our body lotion and oils. So this is just a great way to really not only support the health of your skin, but support your overall health, your systemic health by putting less toxins into your body that have to then get detoxed through the kidneys, the livers, and all the other organs, the digestive tract. We can just lessen that load that's already overloaded from environmental exposure.
Yeah, you really do have to control what your body takes on where you can. And like you said, we can't control the air, and we can only do so much to control the water that we drink. So with Beauty Counter, you're truly guaranteed a safe product and a beautiful product that really works. And, it's funny because you asked earlier what made me want to do this, and really, my why. And really, I started going to, stores that I thought were carrying safe products, and maybe they think they're carrying safe products. And a lot of the products that you can buy in some of these stores are safe. And some of the ones that I was buying, you would look up on EWG, and you would find out, okay, this I can put on my skin and I know it's going to be okay. And I'm not going to have any new toxins introduced to my body that I don't want. But they would not go on nicely. They wouldn't smooth over my skin nicely. I remember specifically there was a sunscreen that it came out actually lumpy, and I couldn't get it on over my face. So that was really frustrating, because you do spend a little extra money to make sure that what you're buying is safe. But when it doesn't work, it just is aggravating. So that's what I love about this. A lot of the products that I was buying in the past, I thought to be safe, and I found out were not safe. I have so many products that sometimes I use as a display to just kind of show, these are products that you think are safe. They claim to be safe, and people are truly surprised to find out that they have known carcinogens in them sometimes, or other problems. So that's why I feel really good about using this brand. People that my clients and my members, they feel very good about using this, and then it works so wonderfully too. So it's a winner, you know. That's what I love about it.
Right. I know we spoke a little bit about how the chemicals in our environment are impacting health and the 4As, how that's impacting children with autism, allergies, ADHD, and asthma. But what about pregnancy and potentially even fertility? Do you want to speak a little bit more to that?
You said pregnancy and
fertility.
Infertility. Difficulty in conceiving and maintaining a pregnancy affected nearly 50% more women in 2002 than just 20 years earlier than that in 1982. I mean, that is a huge number. There are so many people who are really struggling to get pregnant now, or they can't maintain the pregnancy. They end up having a miscarriage. And, it's hard to pinpoint a lot of that, but you have to look at the environment that we're living in and what we're using on ourselves, on our skin, as to take part of the blame, at least part of the blame for that. So, and you find that more than 200 synthetic chemicals, many which are known to be toxic, can be found in nearly every American, including newborns who are exposed in utero while the mother is pregnant. 200 synthetic chemicals can be found. I mean, that is a huge number. And then you start talking about girls who are entering puberty earlier than just a generation ago. And that is due in part to the exposures to endocrine disruptors or hormone disruptors. And those are substances that alter the body's hormonal responses. And that is incredibly frightening because that really puts them at risk at higher risk for breast cancer later in life. So it really is across the board. These chemicals, they affect newborn babies. They affect mothers who are trying to have healthy babies. And then after the babies are born and they're continually exposed to these toxic ingredients, it's danger the whole way through. So.
It is. What also came up at the Detox Summit is how what was considered normal for a sperm count in a man went from 60,000 back, let's say, I think it was 20 years ago, to 20,000. So literally they decreased the normal range.
Yeah.
Keep 80% of men in the normal range, when the truth is that we're seeing a dramatic decreased sperm count across the board. And that is such an opportunity for us to wake up and, say, why is this happening? With fertility issues, a lot of times people focus on the woman, but half the time with fertility challenges, it is related to the man, and sperm count is very much impacted by those hormone disruptors you mentioned. A lot of xenoestrogens or synthetic estrogens are found in pollution, plastics, and these toxic chemicals found in our skincare. So also for men, and I know we focus on a lot of the stuff for women, but men also use skincare products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. And this is also impacting their ability to conceive a child and also their health in general, and autoimmune diseases and other things that are related to inflammation caused from toxic exposure.
Yeah. And, in the 1960s, it was 1 in 20 women were diagnosed with breast cancer, and currently it's 1 in 8. And nowadays it's 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. It is, but for both men and women, it is something to truly pay attention to.
Right. That's right. So I just wanted to close this interview with you sharing, you mentioned some of the products that Beauty Counter makes, anything specific that you would recommend for expecting moms and for children?
Yes, absolutely. Expecting moms and children could actually use any one of the products that Beauty Counter offers. From the Kids Have a Kids, we do have a kids line specifically geared toward children. And, kids can use our adult shampoo and conditioner, but that just, it has a lot of nice ingredients that adults like to use that kids really just don't need. So kids products, they're very safe, obviously, and they have cute little scents, and they smell delicious on the kiddos. We have a squeaky clean body wash and a nice dew shampoo and not a knot conditioner. And it's funny, I have all boys, but one of them gets bedhead, just crazy bedhead in the morning. And I started using the not a knot conditioner in his hair, and I normally wouldn't even consider using a conditioner in his hair because, well, their hair is so soft. They're babies still. But I swear it made a huge difference in the texture of the back of his hair. So it's so much easier to brush, and it doesn't become such a crazy entangled mess of bedhead, which is adorable. But going outside, I'd like for his hair to look a little more brushed, and that's great. But there are other skin actually in the line that I love using for not just myself, but for my kids as well. And that includes the Lustro Face Oil #1, Calendula. It's great for sensitive skin. And I use it on my infant head, any little patch of cradle cap. He doesn't have a lot, but it's really cleared up cradle cap on him. And I've heard a lot of other people say that they've used it for the same reason, whether it's eczema anywhere else on their body or cradle cap. Lustro Face Oil #1 has been great. And then the Nourishing Cleansing Balm. It comes in a tub that's basically like a thick paste, and you really have to get it out with a spatula. But when you smooth it over your skin, it goes on. A little goes a long way, and it's our most expensive product. But because a little goes a long way, it lasts for a long time, and you really get a lot of value out of that. And you can use that on kids, even diaper rash. It works great on diaper rash. And then I use it on my face as an overnight moisture mask. That's what I like to use it for. So, there are a lot of products that Beauty Counter has. All of it is going to be safe for smallest little babies to any adult can use them, and you can feel confident that you're not using anything that could be harmful in any way.
Mm-hmm. And Kristin, can you just share with us your website with Beauty Counter so people can find you and contact you directly?
Yes. My website is beautycounter.com. That's all one word, BEAUTYCOUNTER.com /Kristin Smith. And my name is spelled KRISTINSMITH. So that's beautycounter.com /Kristin Smith. And you can find all of the products on that website.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a way that they can also email you or call you for more information.
Absolutely. You can email me for more information. You can give me a call for more information. You can find me on Facebook. And, there are a lot of ways that you can get involved with Beauty Counter. You can contact me to learn more, but you can find out about Beauty Counter and get more information on my website. And the several ways that you can get involved in, really leading this force for change includes being a client and purchasing products for use on yourself and your family. Or you can become a Band of Beauty member, which means that you pay $25 towards a membership, and that's per year, that's annually. And 10 of those dollars goes to one of our trusted nonprofits, the Environmental Working Group, the Breast Cancer Fund, for Healthy Child, Healthy World. And with the Band of Beauty membership, you also get free shipping and $25 off, $25 credit toward your next purchase with every $300 that you spend. And then my favorite way to become involved in this mission to get safe products into the hands of everyone is to become a consultant and join my team, and really be the force for change that Beauty Counter as a company is seeking. Educating people, we're an education first company, and when people join our mission, they really do help affect change with us, and that is truly the best way that you can get involved. So there's being a client, being a member, and joining as a consultant. Those are all fantastic ways to become involved in this mission and to keep yourself safe from the environmental toxins that can go on your body.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kristin, thanks again for coming on the show today and, passionately sharing, your perspective on skincare and toxic ingredients, and also sharing with our listeners about Beauty Counter.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brayton. I appreciate it.